our meeting. I have two new things to look forward to now every week. Our Monday 1 o'clock Zoom call and our Thursday 1 o'clock Zoom call. So I look forward to these, and it's great to be with everybody. And we're really fortunate today to have Sherry Chris with us. And Sherry, as you guys know, is the president of Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, and she's been there right from the very beginning. And a lot of what you see is her work along with her team and all that. And I was on a call, Sherry and I were on a call last week with some of the owner brokers, and she sent me this picture of her computer set up at home, which was basically like her laptop piled on, on top of books that were piled on each other. It was very high tech, but
very.
We're glad that you've got it all worked out.
Yes, I'm very happy. So, I've reintroduced myself to online shopping, which could be a little scary in itself.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, the economy, we need all the help we can get. So
exactly. That's what I keep telling myself.
So kind of the agenda for today is we have Sherry for 30 minutes. And so we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the industry, and then we'll open it up for questions and answers. So feel free to chat in. Sherry, just so you know, this is an open call. So not only our agents, but other industry members.
Fantastic. Well, welcome to our friends within the industry.
Yeah. Right. And then we'll lose Sherry in about 30 minutes because she's got to jump on to another call. We'll do a quick 5 to 10 minute wrap up. And so we'll be done, by 1:35-ish, something like that. So depending on how we do on questions. So lots to talk about nowadays, right? I guess kind of to start off, what are you seeing for impact? Take the longer view, because we're in this for, could be anywhere. The way we know it right now is stay at home orders and all that. We're probably in this for another 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, the way we understand it today, potentially. What are you seeing for long-term impact, beyond this event?
It's a good question, Chris. And, thank you so much for having me on here today. And what we've been doing is at Realogy. So first of all, let me take a step back. And so our parent company, Realogy, we meet twice a day, the executive team, and we look at our daily numbers. So we have access to significant numbers across all 50 states. And so we look at our open and closed business, and that, helps us and always has helped us try and determine and predict where the market is headed. So what happened in week number 1 from a closed and open perspective was that sales kept coming in, and then it slowly started to decline. And so when we look at pockets across the country, it really depends on, what the state orders are, whether real estate is an essential service or not an essential service, number 1. And number 2 is it an outlying area where COVID-19 is not as predominant? So, for example, one of the hot spots is New York City, which is where I live. And it's, very, very bad there right now on all fronts. So real estate, human loss of life, an explosion of COVID-19, et cetera. So that market is going to take quite a bit of time to rebound. What we decided to do as a company, and we are a public company, is not go too far out into the future. And however, what our CEO, Ryan Schneider, has said is that, and he has a PhD in economics, so he's studying absolutely everything. He believes that it's going to be a V, not a U. And so we're going to go down, and then we're going to come right back up again. And he has that viewpoint for a number of reasons. Number 1, if you compare today to the financial meltdown in 2008, which, by the way, is when we launched the Better Homes and Gardens brand, which was a great opportunity at that time, and there's a great opportunity here. But if we look at the difference there, the average sale prices plummeted during that time, and it was clearly a very wide U-shape recovery. Now we're not seeing the prices go down. In fact, we're seeing consumers clamoring to continue to buy real estate. And part of the reason for that is that the stock market has crashed, and a lot of people have cash, and so they're looking for a solid long-term investment, and also looking to move on to the next phase of their lives. Like, we believe that the new normal is going to be a little bit different than the old normal was, and I can talk a bit about that later. So that's what we're seeing. So we are not panicking. In fact, what we're trying to do is help our broker owners and agents across the country make sure that they take advantage of what's being offered by the government, the SBA loans, and all of that. We're right-sizing our company from a human resource perspective, and we're in it for the long haul, and we're ready to help everyone that is affiliated with us and beyond come out of this in a positive way.
Yeah, we've seen really pretty steady business. I mean, people really wanting to transact.
They want to transact. Yes.
Yeah, they do. They do. And we have the same view of it about being a V-shaped event, right? This is not an economic event; it's a situational event, right?
It's it's a global pandemic. It's health related, and yes, the markets have performed, as per the pandemic, but this is not, an economic meltdown that we see anyways. So we need to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. And we're fortunate. We're in a lot of rural markets, and I think we're going to see a lot of sales from people either second homes or just leaving the city.
I agree. And that's what we are predicting as well. And I was on a call with the Wine Country Group yesterday in Napa and Sonoma counties, Better Homes and Gardens Wine Country. And so what they said is they're starting to see a migration where people from the San Francisco Bay Area that area was hit very, very bad and continues to be. They're buying second homes and actually moving up there. So there are certain markets that are definitely going to benefit from this. And I do believe that your market is one of them.
Yeah, and especially where this isn't really an economic event, where it's a situational, it's a black swan event, right? So generally speaking, there'll be more disposable money in the economy as compared to the '08, right?
Exactly.
So people will be able to navigate and go out and acquire property. Yeah, our pipeline's been remarkably resilient.
Yes, I know it has, and we watch our numbers every day across the country, and you're doing very well, and will continue to do well. But that's not just because you're in an outlying area; it's because of who you are as a company and your leadership. And Chris, when you and I talked just after all of this, went down, what you told me is that you see a great opportunity for growth. And I absolutely agree with you that not everyone is going to make it through this. And I've been on so many calls with brokers, and just finished a call that was incredible where one of our other franchise companies, who's an expert in the whole SBA filing, put on an hour-long seminar for all brokers across Realogy, anyone who wanted to join, to take advantage of that. And so that's the type of thing that I feel positive about, because we're all in this together, and we will remain strong, and we will get through this, and we'll actually be better after it's all said and done, because we're going to change our business practices, just tweaking them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, you had alluded to some other trends or things that you're seeing, on the other end of this. You want to elaborate on that?
Some other trends, one of the things that I see is that, and I've been talking about this for a while, and I think that it'll actually come to be now with us, is that consumers are looking for a different type of relationship with the agent, a deeper relationship, a relationship where we're able to provide more than just, the trusted advisor role to buy and sell real estate. They want to know more about the community, more about the neighborhood. They're looking for that human being to actually stand at their side and be a very, very important part of the transaction. So during this time, what I see a lot of agents doing, successful ones, is they're starting to build their database and build their community of potential buyers and sellers in a deeper way. We can't sell everyone a home right now, but what we can do is reach out and try and help people and show that we care. And that is so important right now to do that. And I see a lot of our agents and brokers across the country doing just that. Now, on the other side of things, which is the complete opposite, is because we're all experts on Zoom now and we're doing everything virtually, is that we'll be able to sell more virtually. We'll still have those deep relationships with consumers, but it's okay for us to be talking the way we are today, that we don't have to have a face-to-face meeting. So what does that mean? That means that commercial office space might look different, that there may not be as many offices, not just real estate, but everything, that there may not be as many bank buildings because people work remote. It's affecting us at Realogy, where we have 12,000 employees that are all working remote right now successfully. So it's going to be that deeper relationship on one end, and on the other end, the comfort that we will have, talking to people remotely, and we're going to have to make sure that we have the technology in behind that to allow us to have an end-to-end transaction utilizing technology. And so this is going to push what we've all been wanting and asking for a long time into the forefront.
Yeah, we've been using this technology for years. So, just because of the size of our footprint, right? It's 5.5 hours from one end to the other. So we've been using this technology for a long time. And also on our website, we were able to launch very quickly virtual open houses, virtual showings. We've been able,
which is fantastic,
very quickly. And then our, a shout out for our guys. They're doing amazing work, leading in the marketplace. Helping their buyers and sellers, keeping everybody calm. It's
keep everyone calm.
Yeah, it's really inspirational, the work that our agents are doing. Under like, who would ever thought that we would have this type of impediment to show a house, or all these types of things. So it's pretty interesting. I got a question came in about, how do you see like Zillow and Redfin, and what if you had to guess, and I know it's early on, if you had to take a guess, like, how do you see this environment impacting, like a Zillow platform or Realtor.com or Redfin or something like that?
It's a very good question that we have talked about, and I see things shifting. And so, if we think about Zillow, they have been, over the past 12 months or so, shifting the way they do business with us. And they've also been putting a lot of time, effort, and money into the iBuying scenario, which, by the way, hasn't been a profit center for anyone. And we all launched iBuying. And guess what? Every one of us, including Zillow, Redfin, Open Door, everyone has retreated from that now because it isn't something that's good in all markets. And so if it's a market where there are any question marks about what the future is going to be, it's not good. So what that tells me is that some of these companies are more fair weather than we would have imagined, that they're going to be cautious, and they're not going to take a lot of risks right now. So I think the people at Zillow are in their offices or on Zoom calls trying to figure out what the next phase of Zillow is. And
Yeah, it's so interesting, because I think the perennial fear in the industry is that we would go the way of the travel agent, and there's
no way.
No way.
There's no way. I mean, now more than ever, there's no way. And
right.
One of the things that we're working on is and agents are doing this on their own already, is a virtual listing presentation, where we can't go and meet in person with people right now, but we can certainly show the potential owner that's going to list with us what we have to offer virtually. And so that's another piece of technology that we have to step up and make sure that we have available. So I I'm excited about the future because I've always liked change, and I've always been somebody who challenges the status quo. We challenged the status quo in 2008, launching BH&G as a lifestyle brand, a brand that creates a deeper connection with the end consumer, a brand that's focused on the importance of core values, our page values, and all of that. And others followed. Now we have a great opportunity to lead everyone out of our current situation and shape the way real estate is going to be transacted in the future.
Yeah, I mean, real estate is like, I always refer to it's like politics. It is door by door, neighborhood by neighborhood, right? Town by town. That doesn't get replaced by an online relationship. It just doesn't. And I don't have any of those fears. And I think actually what we're going to find this moment in time strengthens the bond and the relationship that the consumer has, with their agent.
Absolutely.
People are going to remember the agents that reached out to them during this period of time.
They will. And, Alex Perillo told the good story last week.
That was a great story.
I love that story where he said his sister has her home listed in Florida and kept calling Alex, complaining about the agent because no offers were coming. Why? Who knows? We don't know. But so then suddenly the sister called Alex Perillo and said, I love my agent. I absolutely love her. And so Alex said, what changed? And so she said, she called me today and said, I'm on my way to Costco. Is there anything I can pick up for you? And so I thought, wow, it's as simple as that, folks, isn't it? It's a nice gesture and doing something kind and nice for people. And so that's where I think we have a significant advantage, because I've been on a lot of Zoom calls and I've watched a lot outside of our brand. And what I see sometimes, I see people talking about themselves rather than focusing on the consumer. And so that's always been our hidden secret, and now more so than ever.
We got about 10 minutes left, folks.
Yep.
So if you want to start sending in more questions, feel free to chat them in. I'm watching the chat board.
Have you been watching it? I'm just going to pull it up myself too.
So from a resource perspective, and we're getting ready to, I'll talk a little bit about it on the other end of this, but we've kind of going to be repackaging some of the resources that we get from BH&G on a kind of like to help people now, if they're not ready or comfortable to put their house on the market, what can they do now to start to get ready, to start thinking about it? So kind of an engagement tool. We'll talk more about that afterwards. But from your perspective, what are the tools that people can be leveraging now to stay in contact with their customers? Because really, we've got so in New England, right, we're May 4th is the magic day.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if that gets extended or not, but that's 5 weeks away. So I think it's pretty reasonable to use 6 to 8 weeks. That's not from where we are today. We're, as people start to come out of their storm cellars and all that, it's going to just because like the day turns on, it doesn't mean people are going to go back to normal. So we're going to have this kind of incubation period. And so what's your advice for people to use this time wisely?
From an agent perspective, I mean, I would look at, I would go into the greenhouse and, that's your extranet, that's your greenhouse. Go in there, look at everything that's available. There is all sorts of information and, digital marketing tools that you can use now. And the Pinpoint database, which has 175 million consumers in it. Why not go into that database and start sending out notes to people where they get them in the mail about your listings, about whatever it is you want to send them? Why not send people cookbooks? We have cookbooks at a deeply discounted price. We're all cooking at home, whether we like it or not. were forced to do that. So send cookbooks out. Things like that. I mean, the database, I think, is key right now because you all have exclusive access to it. And there are all these people sitting there. Some other out of the box ideas that I've heard across the country. Here's one that I really liked, is that one agent told me that she's going on, she knows if people in her database have young children, for example. So she's going online and sending little costumes to the family so the kids can play and dress up. I thought, wow, that's fantastic. And addressing it to the kids so they get something sent to them. Things like that. Those are the little things that people are going to remember, and they're going to feel so much more connected to you as agents. There are great things. Yesterday, some agents talked about driving around. I mean, we are allowed to drive, and doing pop buys and just leaving things at people's doorsteps. I saw something on social media this morning where one of our agents had put a branded package of stuff together and just leaving it on the doorstep. And I also noticed this morning that ordering things in the greenhouse, there's a 20% discount right now if you're ordering certain things. And so I would package things together and do that. I mean, we can't be out showing properties right now, but we can certainly be strengthening our foundation. That's what you want to do, strengthen. And then from a social media perspective, be positive. Post things on your social accounts that can help consumers. Make sure that you're tagging and friending all of the people that you want to keep in touch with. I try and spend 60 to 90 minutes every morning just going through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and updating everything, reaching out to people. That's my own form of networking. And guess what? And Chris, I think you know this because I might have announced it last week. Over the last week, Better Homes and Gardens real estate franchise salespeople have sold 5 franchises. 5 new companies are joining us within a week. Why is that? Because they realize that it's better to have a partnership than not have a partnership. And that is the way that you all should feel about your partnership with Chris Masiello and his team, because we're your branding partner. Chris is your leader, and he's a very good leader, I'll tell you. One of the best in the industry.
Oh, well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Generous. Appreciate that. Yeah, because this is really an incubation period. If you look at it properly, I mean, there's a couple different ways you can go with this, and clearly some people will. Look, it's a time of uncertainty, and the way we're all wired, we don't like uncertainty. But in uncertainty is all the opportunity.
That's where the opportunity abounds. And
yeah, it's a real, it's really the quintessence of a yin yang relationship, right? Uncertainty, but in uncertainty is where all the creativity lives, and that's where that's where all the opportunity is. So we're really advising people that, well, and just to clear up too, we actually can show houses.
Okay.
So we actually can function. The marketing team has done an amazing job putting together all the COVID tools for us. And so other than Vermont's been a little tricky, and we're working our way through that now. But New Hampshire, Mass, and Maine, we can practice. And
are you out doing that? Agents are out just taking the proper precautions? Yes.
They are. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's really inspirational work that people are doing. And you get the sense too that the consumer does want to transact. Now, some don't because they're uncomfortable with good reason, and some have underlying conditions and all that. And so, no, we're still writing and closing business.
Well, if you take the proper precautions, that's fine. I will tell you that you're fortunate because there are many states across the country that will not allow showings right now.
New Hampshire won't allow open houses, neither will Maine. Massachusetts does. I'm sure, as you can imagine, because we operate in a 4-state region, it has been about managing the orders in 4 different states. And now we're starting to see some of the municipalities have more stricter orders. So it's a multi-tiered event. But you can energetically, you can feel the peak coming. I think.
Yes, I can feel the peak coming.
Yeah, you
I
can.
can feel the peak. And you know what you don't want to do is a month from now say, "Oh, I wish I had have
No.
spent more time doing X." Now's the time to do it. Don't be sitting on the sofa reading a book, for example. You know, put your thinking caps on and go out and do things to secure your customers. You know, one other piece of advice that I've told agents is go and look at all of your listings now. Make sure they shine, they sparkle, that all of the pictures are perfect, that if you have video on there, it looks great, that you know, your descriptions are, change things out a bit, make your listings look fabulous, because everybody, I'm looking at real estate myself, I'm thinking, maybe I should buy a bigger place here because, you know, I'm getting a little claustrophobic, not too much, but you know, we always look. That's what we do by nature. So you know, it's just it's great. I'm looking at my time, and I've got like 3 minutes left. I have to jump off before 1:30 and jump right on to another call. So, Chris, are there any last questions I can answer?
Yeah, one of the agents said they'd be happy to help you. So buy a house. So.
Oh, well, I always get that every day. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No, just some general comments.
General comments and feedback. So, well, you know, I know I was supposed to be at your awards banquet last month, but sadly it got canceled. Yeah. And I do hope to see you in 2021. If not before. But, you know, I just want to say, go out and do great things, because everybody is looking for some encouragement now. And as I found, it's the little things that matter most. So it's the little things. So thank you for your partnership, Chris, and congratulations on all of your success, all of you. And I will, you know, beg off now and run to my next call, which happens to be standing right here. I just click another button.
At the Toronto Command Center.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate the time. And
my pleasure.
I'm sure
thank you for having me on. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, bye everyone.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thanks.
So folks, we'll start to just wrap up here in a minute. If you want to chat in any questions for me, feel free. I'll tell you what's kind of fun is I'm getting I'm in a lot of your CRM databases, so I'm getting tons of CRM you know, notices about, you know, things to do with your houses and all that. So keep up the good work with that. And you know, I think I mean, this would be an easy time, and understandably so, to kind of go underground. But as I always like to say, though, this is really a moment in time, and it's going to pass. It will pass before you know it. I think Sherry was right. You know, 30 days from now, you don't want to look back and say, I wish I hadn't wasted all that time. And so this is really, this period of time right now is really how do we prepare for being on the other end of this? Because success on the other end of this event, okay, is being made right now. The things that people are doing right now will determine how quickly they ramp back up on the other side of this. And there's lots of tools out there. We're going to be giving you a lot more tools to work. We've got a program that we're going to hopefully get you by early next week called Ready, Set, List. And it's going to be a really comprehensive tool for you to use with your sellers who are either getting ready or thinking about it, or you know, are thinking about it maybe post-event, something like that. So we're really focusing on engagement tools, because you know what you really don't want is you don't want June 1st to be like January 1st. So whoever's ready to come out of the gate and is ready to go will be able to capitalize on the rest of the year. And from an economic perspective, we understand that in the same way that Sherry does, is that because this is an event-based moment in time, it's not an economic-based uh, slowdown, right? So it isn't about housing, it isn't about Wall Street, it's about a circumstance or event. So a V-shaped recession is simply what it is. It's short, sharp, and then you start to come out of it. You know, we don't know exactly what the timing of that is, but we'll know in a couple of weeks, in a few weeks, I think, because it'll be more. This will be relatively predictable, I think, to some degree, and we'll know more about that. So a few things. We're going to send you a link to the COVID page for you to put on your personal websites and to put on your Facebook pages and social media, because we're getting a ton of traffic on our COVID page off the main website. So you're going to see that. I know Angela's got a list of activities that are kind of related to pump up the volume. So, you know, pay attention to those. There's some really good guidance in there. There's a lot of remote learning. So if you need CEs, of course, now's a really good time to be doing it. But outside of the CE environment, think about remote learning and what you can do that's skill-based. And there's a ton of it. We put a whole list out for everyone. And this is a really great time to be sprucing up your skills and your knowledge. I think to Sherry's point, technology will be more pervasive on the other side of this. Offices aren't going away, face-to-face meetings aren't going away. However, you will be able to accelerate your business, okay? And the speed in which you can get transactions procured by using technology, just like we're doing right now, and using video and things like that. I think the last thing I'm going to close with, which I hear a lot of stories both internally and externally about reaching out to people. I mean, look, this includes some of us, right? We've got kids at home. They're a lot of us are having to figure out how to be. I shouldn't say a lot of us. It doesn't apply to me, but people are having to learn how to be school teachers and all that. And people will remember, okay, who reaches out to them during this period of time, because this period of time is going to be memorable. Things that are impactful to us are things that happen in moments that we remember and that we're emotionally attached to. And this is a moment in time that will be emotional for people, because none of us have ever been through it. So we won't forget it. And people won't forget when you reach out. And I think that that cookbook idea is fantastic. So in any event, it's always great to be with you guys. You're really doing inspirational work. And everybody at the home office and sales directors, we're all here to support you. And we're coming up with ideas that will allow you to continue to be engaged. We can still practice real estate. A lot of states can't. And so we're very fortunate that way, that we're in an environment that is not as affected. So, we're fortunate. So again, you guys are doing great work. It's wonderful to be with you. You're all amazing. Have a good rest of the week. Take care.